How was the flight in?
Great. Wonderful.
Your bags show up?
Yeah, they did. We had 2 planes arrive 15 to 20 minutes early, which I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah. Well, you should have sent some of that love my way because mine were late, and then none of my stuff showed up. So I'm starting to feel like on my travel days that I'm going to have to start building in an extra day of travel just so I know I'm going to actually have clothes to wear, especially if I'm checking. The opposite of that is just carrying on, so I don't have to worry about it. But I had to bring some gear with me and couldn't do it. What do you think about Helsinki so far?
Good so far.
Yeah.
Wish the weather was a little nicer, but that's okay.
Well, we are in a Nordic country, right?
Yeah, a little windy, a little rainy, but it's nice. The view is awesome. I didn't realize we were going to get this view, and I didn't realize this space was on the 16th floor, so that's nice.
So tell me some notable things that's going on in Brice's life right now.
Personally, we're expecting our first child.
Come on.
A daughter. So,
congrats. All right.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
The day is December 7th, but the doctor called it a Thanksgiving baby, so I'd say any time between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
How's mom doing?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah, doing wonderful. Yeah, she's working full time right now and kicking butt.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're making her bring that cheese in, right?
Yeah.
Be like, no maternity leave for you. You're working all the way up to it. Now, you are going to take some maternity time off, right? Aren't you taking most of December off?
Yeah, I think so. December can be slower for us at times.
Yeah.
So it might work out perfect. I remember being part of the curator of the paternity SOP for us. So I'm going to get to benefit from what we created a couple of years ago.
I think the first person who took that was Heath Hancock.
No, was it really? I was thinking Coleman, but I think you're right.
No. It was there's no way it was Heath. It had to be Coleman. Yeah.
I think it was Coleman.
Yeah. I don't know why I said Heath, but yeah, Coleman for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Since I'd never had a child, it was hard to put myself in his perspective or a new dad's perspective.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice to
okay,
benefit.
well, then, let's talk about that. I mean, so you wrote it years ago. Now you're getting ready to experience it. I know you haven't experienced it yet, but how's that churning in your mind? Do you feel like we did a good job, that Tungco did a good job on that? Or I know you haven't experienced it yet, but leading up to it, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of comes down to what you value. So I'm going to value that time. Being whatever role I have to do. And 2 weeks could be the minimum of what we need to do. So I think that time's going to fly by. And just based on the timing of it, I mean, you just never know what kind of help is going to be needed at the home.
Yeah.
And I just always like if your home's good, the family's good, then you can kind of disconnect and be a good employee too. So it may be the minimum of what we need to do, really.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, for me, it is noteworthy that other countries take a little bit more time with that. And even like in Europe where we have Marcus and some of our other colleagues, I mean, they may get 6 months, hold the slot for them. I think all that's pretty important. And you can't really experience that until, like you're saying, now it's in your mind, it's upcoming, and you think when you're planning it 2 weeks sounds like a long time, and now you're like, I don't even know if that's going to be long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing my wife gets is you can bank your sick days, and then you're eventually capped, but she's banked 10 years worth of sick days, so she can put those in a row, and now her time can be almost 3 months.
Oh, nice.
And she was planning for this as much as she could, but something like that's pretty nice too.
Yeah, because I mean, with her being in the school system, if the baby does come around Christmas or right before Christmas, I mean, she could almost, in theory, if she's got 3 months off, she would almost have the remainder of the school year off, pretty close.
It's real close.
And then roll into summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was always wanting to save them because you can then retire, and it can change your benefits.
Yeah.
If you're able to cash in some of those PTO days. But I think the advice she's received from almost everyone is like, no, you need to use some of those for your first child now.
Yeah.
So it's going to work out pretty good.
So in one of my anthropology classes I took, I talked about how we do medicine in the United States versus how some of the other countries do medicine. Are you guys doing a midwife, or are you doing a straight doctor? What's that? Not to get like too deep into what's going on, but what's that look like for you guys?
Yeah, we're going to use a doctor. But it is scary how you can believe one path and then hear the other side of the coin and believe that side really quickly.
Okay.
Especially when they're total opposite beliefs or concepts.
Okay, so you're saying beliefs, but like beliefs as believing in the procedure, whether it's...
Could be as micro as which medication or vaccine.
Oh, I got you.
Or a midwife concept versus doctor.
Okay.
Just the misinformation, I think, is now just on the front of people's minds. And so people can be very convincing.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard to figure out what to believe.
So, because you're going with a doctor, were you always on that path and you're saying you had somebody else told you about a midwife and you're like, maybe we would, or just unpack that a little bit?
We've never considered the midwife, but we zeroed in on we've heard horror stories. We consider a horror story of there could be 50 shots that is given to you in a list of the expectation in the first couple of weeks or months of your child's birth.
Okay.
And so then how is someone educated enough to know which ones are right for their child that they're now supposed to be the fostering of their health, and you don't even know maybe the outcomes.
So you're saying like if you're not prepped for it, you could just get hit. Okay, well, here's this vaccine, and then feel the pressure to go ahead and take the vaccine.
Yeah.
But you're not saying you're anti-vax.
No, but there is pressure. I think it's a good word. Yeah, you feel pressure. I'm never a big fan of, let me take a vaccine or take a medicine that I've seen no study data on, or our world. It's new enough to where there's not even that much good study data on. That's a little scary.
Okay.
Believe in something that I don't even know much about.
I think for me, it's probably scary if I was giving it. So I have 2 kids. If I was giving it to Evan or Claire, unknown, I would be pretty scared of that. I think I would be more willing to take the risk myself than giving it to them. Especially, you're going to have an infant. That's a big thing to say. Okay, we're going to try something new on that.
Yeah.
I always go back to there was a documentary I watched on James Adams, and back then, we'd have smallpox come through the U.S. and just kill thousands of people. And his wife, they had, I can't remember, I feel like don't hold me to this, may not be correct data, but they had either a kid get really sick or they lost a child from smallpox. But the way they would, not vaccinate you, what's it called whenever you're inoculated?
Oh, yeah.
The way they would inoculate you is they would take a thread and run it through a smallpox wound of somebody that was deceased. And then they would take that thread and run it through you. They would basically thread it in through your system. And the idea was, just like we do now, that you would only get a small hit of the smallpox. So that was like the way they did the vaccination. But when I was watching this in the documentary, I'm like, man, you think about, I'm sure 100 years from now, people are going to look back at what we're doing and they're going to be like, oh my God, they're so antiquated. Yeah. So, it's hard to put yourself in what they really thought. But can you imagine the risk if you had 4 kids and you're like, okay, we're going to do this? But I guess at that point, for them, their option was, we're either going to do this or we're not going to make it. It's pretty high chance.
Yeah.
What about the midwife thing? Was there anything in particular that you're like, hey, this is why we'd rather do a doctor over a midwife?
No, for whatever reason, we just had fixated on that. We have a couple of doctors in our family in general, and so I think we just kind of set our minds on that and never really considered hard anything else.
Yeah.
In our family, that's the route most took. And so we're probably getting advice from our parents, our mothers, and so we're probably just following what our family's done.
Experience, right?
Yeah.
They've done it before.
Yeah.
My grandmother, my God, she loves telling this story. So, she's seen, I know people who are like in their, what would that be? Probably in their early 70s, but definitely late 60s. That's how many generations, like she had watched them as babies.
Really?
So, it comes all the way through. And I remember like me and my friends, we had kids and we'd take them over to her to babysit for us, and you'd be explaining like how to put the diaper on or just something, and she was like, you do know, like, this is like the 5th or 6th generation of butts that I've wiped or whatever, you know. But our parents, our grandparents, they've got a lot of experience to speak into our life that we should be grateful for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the stories of my great-grandmother having 8 kids, and there's only 2 beds.
Oh, my God.
And so they're all piled up, all kinds of examples like that. And we want 1 kid to 1 bedroom. And what do you do when you have more kids in bedrooms? And you freak out.
Yeah, 1 kid to 1 bedroom, and they've got a bonus room in their bedroom. Yeah, crazy different time. Yeah. Well, let's talking about that kind of stuff. Tungco and what you're doing for the company now. I think you kind of had some good news to share on that recently too, right?
Yeah, with the title change.
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited. New title will be Managing Director of North America. So at one point, you offered me the role of president, and that was coverage over all of our divisions in the U.S. over here. So that was eyes wide open, overwhelmed many times, and so then we created multiple presidents. So we had a little bit of divide and conquer. Right. Especially some areas that we needed a little bit more attention on. So now I foresee myself as managing what it was initially kind of pitched was at 2021 maybe. And so I'm excited because I haven't really been intimately involved in a couple of our divisions, just been ancillary and help when I can, but other people had an intentional focus on the operational side. So I'm excited for that. Got to dip my toes on the sales side, which was great.
I think you've done more than dipped your toe in it.
Maybe. But you would just to learn it firsthand, probably have a bigger appreciation for some of the battles maybe sales would have had that I didn't understand, and then how the system works for us now. So I'm thankful for that, and then excited to offboard that to someone I think is going to be even better than I am. So it's really, really exciting.
It's been pretty amazing to watch your growth from coming in on just being not just the settlement person, but to watch your growth from that. Not that that's just a position, but it's been pretty awesome to see you evolve. And one thing I would compliment you on big time is your coachability. We've actually talked about this a little bit recently. I think that works good. I think you and I work well together because we have a similar coaching style. So we're like full court press. When it's not that we can't sit down and have a conversation if we're coaching a basketball team, which we'll talk about that a little bit too, because you did that for a period of time, but you're wanting to drive the practice, right? So you're like constantly in drive mode. So if we harsh coach each other, we're just like, okay, I'm good. One of the things that I'm having to learn on coaching is that everybody doesn't like that. Like, that's not always easy to do. So I commend you on not only what you're doing on coaching with the rest of the team, but your coachability. That's big time growth that I've seen in you over the last few years.
I appreciate that. Question for you, as I tell people all the time.
I don't get questions.
I feel like you guys let me in important meetings, really big environments that I didn't think I could add much value to at all. I was just a listener. But was that intentional? That happened by accident, especially when I wasn't president or anything. I feel like I was invited to a lot of like big boy meetings and discussions. Yeah. And I don't think we always do that. So I'm just curious, was any of that intentional or?
What year did you start in?
17.
So the team was significantly smaller then. I'd say we were probably about 30% smaller. And my thought process at the time was that the more information that people had, the better. And like when we would have those Monday meetings, that was the chance for us just to kind of unpack, whether it was the P&L, fires that we had going on, occurrences. And at the time, I was pretty much driving those meetings. So I felt like it would help you just be like a sponge and absorb all that. But then I feel like everybody, it doesn't matter what their role in the company is, has something to add when we're talking about those circumstances and situations, because a lot of times the solution to the problem might be some little nuance that you can't just get from, well, let's get all the executive team in and write this on a whiteboard. Like, because we're going to see the high level. So you got a quality control problem in grit. I'm not going to be able to. I mean, somebody can give me the high level conversation on it, but you need the boots on the ground that's actually doing that work, doing that practice to be like, oh, that's where the contamination's coming in. And so there might be a gap in my knowledge, there might be a gap in your knowledge on how we, connect the links of the chain together, but that was always my thought process on it.
Gotcha.
And then at the end of the day, we're both gonna hopefully learn something from what's going on. Today, with the size of the team, I think it's, I wouldn't say we're as nimble as we were then, but I wouldn't say we're less efficient. I think we actually just have to be more intentional about bringing who are those people.
Yeah.
So think about it. In 17, 74 was just getting off the ground. So Tungco and TPP were like really that's your lion's share of material. Mm-hmm. Well, you think about it today, how much material every division is doing. If we were having a regular reoccurring Monday meeting like we used to have, and you're going to talk about all those points, we'd be in there for 4 hours before we covered everything like we used to do. So I don't know that we filled that. I don't know if we backfilled that gap as good as we could have, but I don't think we could just go back and do it that way, because I don't know that the organization would permit it because of the size. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's just kind of that's my initial response to it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I'll choose to leave topics out of a meeting because I'm like, there's no way. I want to get deep on these handful. There's no way we're going to get to all this when you look at it across all divisions.
Yeah.
No, that's probably fair.
So I think there might be you might be able to come up with a hybrid way to do that. That if you have like rolling days of the week, or maybe you have a rolling weekly meeting, but then you bring somebody else in on this week and then on this week and on this week, so they get some touch points. Yeah. That might not be as fast of the growth that you had because they might not have enough soak time. Yeah. But that might be something we could consider doing. It's a great idea. I love the thought of that.
Yeah, it definitely could work.
So, managing director, let's just talk a little bit. What's that look like for you? What are you most excited about? What are you most concerned about? Yeah.
I'm very excited to then put people in positions to stretch themselves, cover a new territory or like a new side of the business that they weren't maybe as involved with. Adam doing some sales and then a bigger scope on procurement as an example. So I'm excited for that. The challenge for me, and this has been on plenty of my assessments, is that I tend to want to be the person that does the work. Or if I get a task to do, let me go ensure that it's done no matter what my priority list looks like. So I'm really going to have to learn to delegate more and more, and then hold people to a standard and accountability, but also make sure they understand what the assignment is fully, based on my expectations, or even Debbie, who's going to be my direct superior, or yours. So it's going to be a big challenge, but that's what always excites me. Something new, something to better myself.
What were you on the widget? The Working Genius. You remember what your top two were?
Yeah, discernment and one more. Can't remember what the second one was.
Hey, do you remember your working frustration?
It was actually, what's the very first one?
Wonder.
Yeah, it was actually wonder.
So and
I was surprised.
So my strengths, or what my letters are, is discernment and galvanizing.
Oh, that's what it was.
So you're DG?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's probably why we click so well, because my number one working frustration is wonder. So
I thought I would have been good, but.
Well, but so here's the thing. I think when you think about that, like for me, I don't mind getting on a whiteboard, and I see you do this as well. I can get in and just go straight Rain Man, Goodwill Hunting, and just write all over the board.
Yeah.
I do that better when I'm by myself. Because
for yourself or for a group, but you're just getting it prepped for somebody.
I'm saying, like, if I'm really going to do what I would call a wonder session, I do it better alone.
Okay.
Because I think what happens is, and when I say better, I don't know, maybe it's more about how I feel on the inside, right? But for me, when we get in those big groups of wonder, it's like this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea. It's like chaotic. Discernment is like, okay, you guys write all this shit on the wall and then pick what you feel like is your top 5, and then I'll come in 5 minutes and I'll be like, these are the top 3, and then now let's narrow that down to 1, and we'll do that in 10 minutes. The other ones start to create frustration for me. And what I've noticed since we've done the Working Genius test is that I've started to be able to identify segments of, I'm like, oh, no, we're getting back into wonder. And that would create a frustration for me, but I wouldn't identify it as that. I would just be like, why is this person spitting out all these ideas right now? Like, that's not even what we're doing. But I didn't have the language to be able to wrap it around and be like, oh, that's because we've already galvanized around this, and now we're backing back up to wonder. So, like, when I see that, I was like you, I'm like, no, I do like to be inventive. I do like to, but really, if you're thinking about it, like when you're in it and in the trenches, I'm like, yeah, no, I really don't. That can be a very strong working frustration for me.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, I would have said that you probably wonder quite a bit, just based on like what I see you do on the whiteboard and other things.
Yeah.
But you do that alone a fair bit too, right?
Yep, I sure do. And I can remember in my past of watching coaches, being around coaches. As a player, you walk into a locker room and they've got the entire whiteboard already sketched out. Offensive, defensive, special plays, whatever. And that kind of made me think that I just copy that and adopt that over time. But I'm with you. Like if we try to go back to wonder, I'm like, crap. We had some good momentum. Now there's a seed of doubt maybe planted in someone's head that there might be a better way.
Yes.
And now we're just split or just off topic.
Yeah. And I think some of that comes from, I want to back up about the basketball thing in just a second. I don't want to forget about that. But I think some of that comes from high-level management. When you're in a meeting and you got multiple layers of management in there, and somebody from that upper level was like, well, hey, guys, what about this? And if it backs back up into something that you've kind of wondered on already, now people, I mean, I've been in meetings where I've even heard people be like, oh, crap. I thought we had that answered. And now it's like a seed of doubt. I mean, that's really kind of what it starts to tend to feel like. And now you're like, okay, did we get that right whenever we had that conversation? Yeah. Or did we miss something? And so I feel like what I have to do a better job is saying in a positive way, not a general patent, hey, knucklehead, but in a positive way, be like, hey, I think maybe we've galvanized around that already. Like, or we're not saying we're questioning that decision, because most people that are wanderers are not. So that's the thing that I feel like I really identified, is they're not backing back up and saying, hey, I don't know if this is right. They're just getting in the flow of what they do. So just like I can come in and make that decision real quick, they're just like, let's think, let's do this, man. Let's think about it. But it can be doubtful for everybody else. So what do you think about the widget? You think it's helping us?
100%. It can put words, or it can help me then discern why I felt a certain way that I just really couldn't put into words.
Yeah.
Until those scenarios were spelled out in that summary of my personality or the way I like to problem solve. It hit it. Like the final summary, I was like, crap. And almost like I didn't want to get it got. But I was like, it got me. Yeah. For some reason, I wanted to be just still mysterious.
You're
or something.
Like, oh, man.
100% did that. Yeah.
All right, well, so we'll kind of just wrap up a little bit. But, I mean, you coached at Florida State for the women's Florida State basketball team, or was an assistant coach? Or?
I was director of recruiting.
Director of recruiting. Yeah. Okay. So what'd that look like for you? Like what a regular day look like as director of recruiting?
And it really was at the very beginning of like college recruiting chaos. I would call it pretty chaotic today for NCAA. But you'd start out with maybe 1,000 freshman high schoolers, and then each year it'd be cut in half, maybe even 2/3 of who you were recruiting. So if you're recruiting a player, say I'm recruiting your daughter to play at Florida State, you'd get to know the lunch lady, their head coach, their math teacher. You'd send them pieces in the mail, text messages, graphics, get them on campus for visits. And then by the time you get to your senior class, you've got it narrowed down to 5 to 15 prospects. And you're doing that every year with thousands.
And
prospects.
at what age group? Now, I mean, you might have like somebody that's just a prodigy that would be super young,
Yeah.
but in general, what age would you start that kind of general, hey, this is our first touch of trying to possibly recruit this person?
Yeah, I would say middle school, high school. So it could be as early as 12, 13 years old.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because you're going to go, like we come to an event in our industry, you're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, where all the best teams come. And they may not be a prodigy, but they may stand out as a 7th or 8th grader. And so it made a difference. If you were there first, if Florida State was there first and got to know that family first, that did mean something. It's almost like everybody else had to better the opportunity, unless you had a brand name that was just superior.
Yeah, because that first visit psychologically kind of sets the tone in people's minds, right?
Yeah, and I think what parents understood was that was an investment for us to take the time to get to know someone and understand, could it be a good fit? Could it be a mutually beneficial partnership? Yeah, so I think that was a huge deal.
All right, so we'll land the plane with this. You and I at Tungco, we've been working on like what's our onboarding, what's our culture like, what's our recruitment. I mean, those are all very, very critical things, that touch points that we want to get right. If you said, hey, compared to Florida State recruitment, I mean, you ripped off about a dozen things there. Yeah. Now, that all felt to me not only really intentional, but you've been gone from it for several years.
Yeah.
So it was rhythmic enough and in the culture that you still remember it today and you can just rip it off like that.
Yeah.
If you compare Tungco's recruitment to that kind of recruitment, well, how would you say we're doing?
I think both parties value like the human being as such a crucial asset. Like they share that in common.
Okay.
Without the people, you're nothing. You are a brand, you have an operation, but really you're nothing.
Okay.
But then I think Florida State does it way earlier in comparison, more intentional. I mean, you might have 4 or 5 visits before you ever commit.
Oh.
And we've talked about that at Tungco, where could you put together scrap metal to build something as a tryout to be a welder for us?
Okay.
Or could we make the 3D pieces of tungsten and watch someone sort on a table and see if they can even do the skill or not, or can comprehend some concepts? So we tend to go a little trial by fire. And that does happen at the collegiate level. Sure, something may not work out, but we decide at Florida State, you decide how much you want to learn about somebody, from academics to performance to what their family's like. I don't think at Tungco we get that deep. We just don't get to fully understand someone or give them tests like the personality tests to even know if it's going to be a great partnership. And really it's about predicting. You're trying to predict talent. You're trying to predict grit. And I would say we don't really have many predictors in our recruitment process for Tungco right now at all. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And just from a basketball analogy specifically to what you're talking about, part of what you're trying to get right and predict is, are they really going to perform? So maybe they're prodigy in 8th grade, but that doesn't mean they're going to be like the MVP at the collegiate level, right?
Correct.
But for us, this is what when I'm hearing you talk and rip all that out. I mean, if we're going to recruit at Tungco, you might recruit somebody that has already got 15 years in their career. So it's not like we don't know if they're a performer or not. But we've also recruited some people that don't work for us anymore. We've recruited people that didn't work out, and they, we thought it would be a good fit. So is there anything in there that you mentioned the personalities, but is there anything in there that you're like, okay, if we were more intentional about, because you said from almost 8 years old to, or let's say 7th, 8th grade to 12th grade, they're probably committed before then, but let's say it's a good 4 years of recruitment for somebody who's strong.
Yeah.
I don't think we do that. Now, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm saying I feel like maybe there's some room for improvement on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like some examples, it feels like every time we get someone that's got military experience, they are like almost excited to rip out SOPs or update SOPs.
Oh,
for a
yeah,
program.
okay, yeah.
And they understand chain of command. And then we've hired some people that I don't think had to wear more than one hat, which means do just one thing every day. And then when they get recruited and hired by Tungco, they will struggle to handle many responsibilities at one time.
Gotcha.
And so I don't think we have that in their profiles, which we have now. We don't have any of that kind of stuff to know, yep, that does translate, or that probably won't translate the way we like to work.
All right, well, maybe we can walk away from this with some action items on how we can be a little bit more intentional on our recruiting.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Man, thanks for sitting in, having a conversation with me. I want to wrap with just saying how proud I am of you, how much I enjoy working with you, and think you're doing a good job, fantastic job, and I'm super excited to watch you become a dad. That's going to be a very exciting experience for all of us.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I thank you again. Even before having the child, I feel like I'm already supported and encouraged to be the best dad I can be, and that means a lot to me, so very thankful for that.
All right, man. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
Be good. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Cliff's Notes, Cliff's Notes, Cliff's Notes, Cliff's Notes.